I just got done with an event a couple weeks ago, and it kind of got me thinking about this. I believe that you have a message to share, even if you don't know what it is, even if it's not clear. Um, and the reason I got thinking about this is I did this event. It was for a bunch of Christian coaches and consultants, and I did another event that was similar earlier this year, but it got me thinking back to a long time ago, like before I even started sharing my message. One of the things that I struggled with is I thought I didn't have a message. Like there was nothing special. I didn't have anything inside me that just like flows out. Like I know this is what I'm meant for. And I thought even if I did, why would anybody pay attention to me? Like, who am I? There's all these other voices out there, the prominent people, the influencers that everybody knows their name kind of thing. Like they're clear on their message. Even if I was clear on mine, like why would anybody pay attention to me? And looking back on that and then experiencing what I've experienced a couple times this year, and many times before that, is there is a message, and each one of us has it. Each one of us as Christian coaches, consultants, we have a message inside of us, even if we don't know what it is. But how do we uncover that? And a few years back, I learned something that it really kind of changed the way that I think about sharing my message. And it's the reason why, hundreds of people signed up, raised their hand to hear what I had to say earlier this year. It's the reason why the people did at this event that I just got done. It's the reason why people are saying yes to wanting to work with me, wanting me to help them with their businesses. And really what it all comes down to is clarity, right? Because clarity, when you start to have more of it, breeds confidence, right? You become more confident in your message because as it gets clearer, you develop this conviction, like, there's the repetition, you do it consistently, you build more confidence in it. And as you have that confidence, naturally, I don't know how the quote goes, but I think there's this quote that something about confidence and like it being attractive, and it, attracts other people. Like people like confidence. They like confident people. They're drawn to them. And when you have that confidence and you combine it with an offer that solves a real problem for a specific person, naturally clients will come from that, right? And so then the question is like, how do I actually get clarity of my message? If I don't think I have a message at all, or maybe I have one, but I'm not sure about it, or it's like I have something there, but it's not clear at all. How do you actually go about, getting clarity? And there's this quote that this friend of mine told me a while back. And basically the idea behind it is this: your message will clarify itself as it passes through your lips and your fingertips. And what that means is as you talk more, as you share that message more, as you type it or you write, that message will begin to clarify itself, right? It's kind of this refinement process. And as that message clarifies itself, you will begin to have that confidence. And as you have that confidence and you start sharing that message with more confidence, it will naturally attract people. There will be a community of people who start paying attention to what you have to say, even if you're not, this big name influencer thing. And that will naturally lead to you having clients if you have the right offer to pair that message with. And, it's not even that you need a big audience to start getting clients. You just need the right people. There's a verse in the Bible. I don't remember exactly what it is. I have my Bible here, but it goes, God prepared good works in advance for us to do. And I believe that some of those good works are helping very specific people, right? There are specific people that we're called to help. Maybe it's through sharing the gospel. directly. Maybe it's through our business and the message that we have in our business and how that can help them solve, a surface level problem. It can help them experience a transformation here while they're in the world, and maybe it can lead them to a spiritual transformation as well, bringing them closer to Jesus. But we all have that message, and there are specific people that God has planned for us to help. And in order to do that, we need to have a clear message. We don't have to be the most eloquent speaker, right? That can help. That can help the message to land. But we need to clarify that message. And so it's not about having this huge, giant audience. Actually, in fact, the event that I did earlier this year, this is actually a really good example. There were hundreds of Christian coaches and consultants who signed up for that event to hear what I had to say, to hear the message I had to say. The event that I did most recently, just a couple weeks ago, was much smaller. There were a lot of things I was doing differently for this event that kind of led to that. But what was interesting is this smaller event was much more profitable for my business. It was a lot more peaceful for me to actually put on than the other event where there were hundreds of people showing up. So it's not even that, you need to have this huge audience to make an impact with your message. You could do it with just a few people. I truly believe that every client, even every contact that we have, every client is a soul, not a sale. And when we see people like that, when we could see the people behind the numbers, the number of likes, the number of people who register, number of subscribers, number of clients, whatever, when we see that they're actually people, it really changes the game in how we show up. If we get 5 likes on a post, if you try and visualize that, there's like 5 people in a room who are looking at, are seeing this message that we're putting up there. That's a real impact. That's not like, you don't need a huge audience to impact someone's life. And what you do need, though, is you need a message, right? You got to be able to share a message, whether it's sharing the gospel and actually knowing what it is and being able to say it. And the more that you do that, the more confident you're going to be able to do that. Or the good news of your business, right? I believe that you have good news of your business to share with the world, even if it's not clear yet. You have it somewhere inside you. It kind of makes me think of, maybe the story behind this. You've probably heard of the David statue, right? It's like that huge statue, just amazing work of art. People come from all over the world to see it. The story behind that is that statue was carved by Michelangelo out of one single giant block of marble. And I guess, as the story goes, there were some other sculptors who saw that big chunk of marble and they're like, I'm not going to work with that. It's going to break, or, too fragile, or whatever they said. They passed it up. And so it sat for a long time. And eventually Michelangelo saw it and he's like, I see something in that. And so he went to work. He started working on it. And, at first he used these big giant like chisel things to break off big chunks of the rock, but as he got closer to what he was envisioning, he kind of knew where he wanted to go, but that process started to unfold, and as it unfolded more, he started using smaller chisels and different tools to do more of the refinement work, right? And he could probably visualize something at the beginning of that, like, I see there's something in that block, there's potential there, but it's not going to fully unfold itself. It's not going to be something that people are going to come from all over the world to hear until I get to work, right? Until I knock that first chunk of rock off, and then the second one, and then the third one. Your message is the same way. As you start sharing it, it will begin to unfold. It will begin to become more clear. And I don't know whether there's anything to this, but this coach shared something really interesting with me a while back. He said that if you have a message that is on your heart and you decide not to share it, maybe God's going to give that message to somebody else to share, because there's somebody out there who needs to hear that message. And if you're not going to share it, somebody else is going to do it, right? The Bible says that before Jesus comes back, like, people from every nation are going to, are going to hear. I don't remember where that verse is, but it talks about how there's basically going to be an opportunity for people. Somebody is going to get out there and share the message. And that's part of the reason why we're called to share the gospel. Your business is probably the same way. If you don't share your message, there's going to be somebody else who maybe God's going to put the message on their heart. And it was funny because shortly after he shared this with me, we were in this room. It was at this event I was at, and just beautiful event. Like, we were overlooking the beach, and it was just it was amazing. Just a small group of people. There was probably like 15 to 20 of us in the room, and we were going around, and people were talking about where they were at in their business, and they were asking questions and stuff, and people from the group were kind of chiming in. It was almost like this mastermind type of thing. And there was somebody who was talking, and as they were sharing their problem, I felt like I got this like piece of wisdom to share with them. But because I was new to this group, I hadn't been in it a whole lot. I felt like I was kind of at this event more to just like soak stuff up. Some really, really amazing people with huge businesses, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, like 7-8 figure businesses. And at that time, I was thinking, like, there's probably nothing valuable that I have here to share. And so I had this thing that came to me. I was like, I should really say that, because I think this could help that person. And I decided not to, probably because of my own insecurities, whatever. I kid you not, 10 seconds after I decided I'm not going to say anything, this mentor of mine jumped in and said the exact same thing that I was going to say. And I was like, oh my gosh, you just told me like earlier in this day that if you don't share your message, God might give it to somebody else to share, right? And then this was like, it was almost an immediate like reinforcement of, yeah, that's probably a thing that could actually happen. And I don't think that's meant to be something that creates fear in us, like fear of missing out, that, if we don't share our message, if we don't get clear, we shouldn't feel pressure from that. But we should see it more as encouragement. Like, God wants to use us to make an impact. Like, he wants to use us, if we're willing, to be the vessel that his message reaches people through. And I think that same thing can happen through our businesses, right? There's a message. As a Christian coaching consultant, you have a message of good news that is meant for some specific people, how you can help them align with the truth. And we want to take advantage of that, right? We want to uncover what that message is. We want to continue to refine and clarify it, even if we have an idea of what it is or have a start on it. And sometimes that message will clarify more and more. Sometimes it might change a little bit depending on who we're sharing with. But ultimately, we all have that message of good news through our business. It's just about finding it. And from everything that I've learned, the only way that we can get clarity on what that message is and begin to refine it is just by doing it. Like I said earlier, that message will clarify itself as it passes through your lips, as you talk about it more, and through your fingertips as you type or as you write it out. And so just want to encourage you, if you've ever felt like you don't have a message that is, worth sharing at all, and even if you did, nobody would listen, just know that I believe that that's a lie. I believe that we've all been given a message. We've been given unique experiences, skills, and abilities to be able to share, and to share with specific people. And it's all about doing that and showing up consistently, just sharing whatever it is right now, so that God, we take that first step. If you think about that Bible verse, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light for my path. You think about a light for your path, like a lamp, like they used to use, it doesn't light up the whole path, right? It only lights up the next step. It gives you just enough light to take that first step, to take that step in confidence. And it requires action, right? The next step of the path doesn't light up until we take the first step. Your message won't clarify itself further until you share it, right? That's why just starting is the first step, and then continuing to share that consistently, whatever that message is, it'll help light up that path. The further that you go, that message will continue to clarify itself. And again, it's not about, you don't need a huge audience to have a message that is worth sharing. You don't need to have a huge audience to make an impact. You only need a small handful of people. And you need to remember that every one of those people is a soul. And they may be a soul that God has created for you to share your message with. So I just want to leave you with that. Start sharing, continue sharing, and that message will continue to refine itself.